Hey, how y'all doing, man? I want to get on here real quick, man, and just share some things with y'all, man. I want to say, sometimes you can learn a lot of good things in your darkest state, on your darkest chapters in life, right? What I mean by that, man, me, when I was young, man, I was a little reckless. I was a little, hard-headed, dumb, making dumb decisions. And, when I was about 20 years old, I got incarcerated and I did 5 years, right? But in those 5 years, man, a lot of people ask me, when you went to prison, man, like, how was it, man? Like, did you learn anything from it, or, you know, was you tested, and how was your experience, And so me, I always say, man, and this is not a bragging thing, man. I don't know how much I can emphasize this because none of us is immortal, right? And then when you go in prison, man, it's a different atmosphere, man. So, a lot of times in prison, they got gangs and all type of stuff in there, man. And sometimes, people already got knives and shanks, and a lot of times people are jumping you 4 person to one or 5 person to one. It's a lot with it, man. So I just thank God, man. He protected me, man. I never ever had any problems in prison. I ever got any fights. I never even got any arguments in prison, man. Like, I don't know, man. It was just every prison that I went in, it was always somebody in that prison that told, I guess, the troublemakers, not to bother me. Like, he cool people, so like, that's my man, So yeah, I done been to probably like 7 different jails, going through the bit, because you go to the detention center, then you go ahead, then you go to the pre-release, and then you go to, work release. It's a lot, but throughout my whole journey in prison, God protected me, put his hands on me. That's the only thing I can say, man, Never gonna take the blame for that. But, to the grace of God, I was protected. But one thing I learned from prison, man, I took the good things from prison, right? Like I said, sometimes you can learn great things in your darkest hour. Me, 2 things I learned in prison was how to play chess and how to work out, or working out, and becoming great at chess, right? Now, why I say these 2 things are great to me, because they actually shaped me to be the man I am today. Literally. How do I say that? Like, what is he talking about? A lot of people say, what are you talking about, bro? Like, chess shaped you to be the man you is today. Like, check this out, bro. Listen. Before I went in, I didn't have patience. Before I went in, I wasn't thinking. I was thinking with my emotions. Before I went in, I was just why not I wasn't wise. You know what I'm saying? So what chess did, it gave me patience and showed me how to think before I move, before I act. And it showed me that every move that you do have consequences. You know what I'm saying? Some of them are major consequences, right? And in chess is the game of life. You know what I'm saying? It's just, the crazy thing is, when I was in the streets, man, I wouldn't have never learned how to play chess. Somebody would have sat me down and said, hey, man, why don't you come over here and learn how to play some chess, man? I'm looking at them like, why do I want to learn how to play chess for? I'm out here getting money. I'm doing what I do. I'm chasing money, women. I would have never stopped to even make time to learn how to play chess. So I'm so grateful and thankful that not to, to big up prison or nothing like that, but I'm just in my situation that I took the best from it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, take the bad things out of prison. When I was in prison, I was playing chess with the old heads all the time, staying out of trouble, working out, reading, not worrying about home, not worrying about women that I messed with when I was home. I had to learn the hard way, man. I got to do this time for myself, baby. You know what I'm saying? So that's what prison gave me, man. It gave me patience, think before ahead of time, every move is a consequence. And it's just like, I live by that to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got patience, man. You know, I ain't gonna say I got extreme patience, but I came a long way from when I went in. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things that would have bothered me then don't bother me. You know what I mean? And you always can handle situations differently. You always don't have to handle situations like, you know, with aggression. You know what I mean? Yelling. You know what I mean? Because it's not what you say to people, it's how you say it. So these little things kind of like correlate to like life with me. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're playing chess, right? Just say you make a bad move. You know, when you play chess, you don't want to let your opponent know you made a bad move. You know, you got to keep your composure. You know what I'm saying? It's just like life. You know what I mean? Everything is gonna happen in life. You know what I mean? Like you can have good times, you're gonna have bad times. But you know, it's all about how you react mentally. It's all about how you process it. You know what I'm saying? Take things one day at a time, man. You know what I'm saying? So chess is like, it's been times I made a bad move and I kept my composure. But my player's seeing I made a bad move and it's messing his head up because he like, why is he not shooken by that? Why is he not like, you know, upset about that move he made? So, you know, sometimes they snatch the piece. Hey, you done. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping my composure. I'm just like, you know this. Now in my mind, I'm like, shit, damn. But when you keep your composure, sometimes it makes your opponent like, is he setting me up or something like that? It kind of throws them off a little bit. So it's like a poker face, man. You just got to keep your composure, man. You know, you can't, you know, and a lot of times I done turned the whole game around and wind up winning after the bad moves that I made. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, chess is an amazing game, man. So I don't even want to get into chess and talk about, I love chess. I can talk about it for a whole hour if I want to. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just telling you what I pulled from. You know what I mean? And working out, man. Working out just taught me how to love myself. You know what I mean? I need to love me. You know what I mean? I need to take care of me. And I need to know that, you know, if I want muscles, if I want to look better, if I want to look good, if I want to feel better, it's not going to happen in one day. It's not going to happen in one day, man. I got to be consistent. I got to be disciplined. I got to work. I got to go in there when I don't want to go in there. I got to go in there when I'm tired, when I'm sore. Working out taught me, if you be consistent, whatever you're doing in life, guess what? Just because you go in the gym for a whole 2 weeks and you don't see results, that doesn't mean things ain't moving. You see what I'm saying? That's how life is. Sometimes, you know, just for example, we filling out applications or we waiting on something and it ain't going on our speed, our time. We get discouraged and we quit. You know, we go into deep depression and stuff like that. But listen, man, you know, things take time. That's what working out got me. That's what got me out in life. That's how it shaped me to be. I look at working out as, I already know it's going to take me months sometimes to get where I need to be at in life. You know, everybody got a goal they want to be at. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all want to lose weight. We all want to gain weight. You know what I mean? But I know it takes months. It takes time. And you just got to have patience. So working out gave me that. It gave me patience, man. It gave me, you know, confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because if I apply the same thing I do to working out with my life, guess what? Whatever I'm trying to do in life, I can accomplish it, baby. That's literally how it go. I don't care what it is. You know what I mean? Whatever you're trying to do in life, if you're consistent, you know, you're disciplined, and you already know things ain't gonna happen overnight. Little increments and little progression matters. Just like the gym. Little progression matters. I might work out for 2 weeks. I might start seeing my arms, start seeing my chest a little bit. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna all come at one time. I gotta keep working. I gotta keep chopping this tree down. You know what I'm saying? Sort of say. You know what I'm saying? So the 2 things I learned from being in prison was chess and working out. And I want to say again, sometimes in our darkest state, we can learn beautiful things. We can learn great habits. We can learn, you know, that, you know, what don't kill you makes you stronger at the end of the day, baby. So I just wanted to leave y'all with that, man, and just say, you know, if you think you're good at chess, inbox me. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be hard to beat me, baby. So I'm going to leave it at that. Let's get it.